Good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
Yes, hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
Tributes to a Yorkshire student confirmed as one of the victims of the Air India plane crash.
He was just a one of a kind, the nicest, smiliest, just wonderful person. He had such a positive outlook on life.
Dhirit Patel had been on his way back to Leeds after asking his girlfriend's family for permission to marry her. Also tonight.
Jail for the crime boss who tortured and murdered his own uncle in a row over missing money before hiding his body inside a former bank vault.
Nell's lasting legacy. How the music of a late teenage singer from Leeds is helping others to follow in her footsteps. And
why Chatsworth House is rolling back the years to celebrate an author who was ahead of her time.
so first tonight, he'd travelled to India to ask his girlfriend's parents' permission to marry her. But on his way back to Yorkshire yesterday, Dhirit Patel became one of the 241 passengers to lose their lives when a London-bound Air India plane crashed just after takeoff.
Today, his devastated friends in Leeds described him as a wonderful person who had such a bright future ahead of him.
Meanwhile, in Huddersfield, his university lecturer remembered Dhirit as a keen and passionate student. Amelia Beckett reports.
Just 22 years old, Dhirit Patel had a bright future. Studying at the University of Huddersfield, he'd just graduated top of his class and returned to India to ask his girlfriend's parents for her hand in marriage. On Thursday, he was supposed to come back to the UK, but he never made it. He was one of the 241 killed when an Air India passenger plane bound for London's Gatwick Airport crashed shortly after taking off in Ahmedabad.
It's an absolute shock of when I heard about it yesterday, and I think patiently waiting to see a small hope that, he would be one of those that survived. He was a bright kid, quite jolly, a good friend, a good brother, just a good human being, would just make everyone smile.
It was such a happy day for him.
Raj, Simi and Varun were all friends with Dhirit, here celebrating Diwali with him and his brother and the Hindu festival Holi. His brother and sister-in-law are currently trying to get back to India to be with their parents, who are still waiting for DNA confirmation.
His mum is not in a good way at all. She's become quite ill from the news of it. She'd literally just dropped him off and they'd driven away from the airport and they'd not got far and heard the explosion and found out and had to turn round when they announced that it was that flight. It doesn't bear thinking about.
Dhirit had recently graduated with a master's in AI, his tutor, George Barrianis, describing him as an extremely talented student.
So I have a research project that is starting very soon, and I'm interviewing for it in the coming weeks. And Dhirit was going to apply to that, and we had discussions about the role, about what he could bring to the role. So he was actually coming back to do that. The interviews are in a few weeks' time, and we were meant to meet to discuss that. And yeah, it is so tragic.
We still don't know what caused the plane to crash just moments after taking off on Thursday. Today, one of its 2 black boxes has been recovered. For families like Dhirit's, hope it will at least provide some answers as to what caused this devastating crash, which cost the lives of so many. Amelia Beckett, ITV News, Leeds.
And our thoughts are with Dhirit's family and friends. There's more on this tragic story across the ITV News website. It's all at the usual address, itv.com/calendar, where you'll find continuing coverage from ITV News reporters both here in the UK and, of course, in India. A West Yorkshire crime boss who tortured and murdered his uncle before hiding his body in a disused bank vault has been jailed for at least 34 years.
Tariq Syed believed that Asghar Badshah had stolen £600,000 from him, the proceeds of Syed's international drug trafficking operation.
Today, a court heard that Mr Badshah's mother had died from a broken heart after her son's murder, and his widow has since given birth to their longed-for child. Sally Simpson reports.
Asghar Badshah was a much-loved husband, brother and son, whose job as a bus driver earned him respect from all who knew him. But his life was taken by a family member he also loved and trusted in a brutal act of betrayal.
Over a 5-year period, Syed's organised crime group imported 5,000 kilograms of cocaine and heroin into the UK from the Netherlands, hidden in frozen chicken consignments with a wholesale value of £125 million. When Syed believed his uncle had stolen £600,000 of those proceeds from him, he arranged his kidnap and transportation to the disused bank in Batley, where he subjected him to a violent interrogation, described in court as nothing short of torture. Asghar Badshah had more than 58 injuries to his head and body when his concealed remains were found in the bank vault a month later. By then, Syed had fled the country.
He went on the run via Albania and Iran and continued to traffic drugs across the continent until he was arrested in Turkey. Officers who worked to bring Syed to justice welcomed the lengthy sentence handed down today.
I'm really pleased that we've worked in partnership with the NCA, not only to extradite Syed when he fled the country after the murder, but also in relation to the convictions for the significant drugs trafficking that he's been responsible for bringing into West Yorkshire and into the UK.
Sentencing Syed to serve at least 34 years in prison for murder, conspiracy to kidnap and drug supply offences. His Honour Judge Tom Bayliss said, "You will be an elderly man before the minimum term is served, and after it is served there is no guarantee you'll be released at that time." A statement on behalf of Mr Badshah's family said, "The pain we endure each day, the hurt and the emptiness left behind by these traumatic events have left a permanent mark on all of us. Today brings some sense of justice to the family of Asghar Badshah, whose life was taken by a man who would stop at nothing to protect his criminal empire." Sally Simpson, ITV News, Leeds.
Well, thanks for your company this evening. Do stay with us here on Calendar because still to come.
In my career, it's the best thing I've ever done.
The Stars are out ahead of the biggest charity football match in the world this weekend. Plus,
the sun's been out for the Wimbledon of the North in West Yorkshire.
And incoming after a very warm day, this brings a chance of thunderstorms into tomorrow, but it doesn't mean Saturday's a write-off. I'll have your weekend forecast.
a concert in tribute to a young musician who died aged 17 is being held in Leeds on Monday.
Nell Smith had achieved her dreams of recording her own album, but she died in a car crash in Canada before it could be released.
Her family want to celebrate her life and raise money to help other young people trying to break into the music industry. Katie Oscroft has her story.
I got my first tattoo. I didn't know if I should tell you.
17-year-old Nell's first solo album, released after her death by her grieving family.
It's all heartbreaking and sorry, but she was just getting started. You know, she had this album which was due to come out in April of this year, and shortly after she died, we made the decision that that still needed to happen. Kind of gave us a bit of a focus, and yeah, you know, she would have been touring with this album now.
Nell was taken to concerts as a little girl and became a fan of the Flaming Lips. She wrote this letter describing her ambition to play with them. And by the age of 13, she did.
Reading that after she died was, you know, it was heartbreaking, but at the same time, how many kids get to achieve their dreams? And she did. All of that stuff happened, and she kind of made it happen. So yeah, her dreams came true. Oh, it's great, isn't it, in there?
Emmerdale actor Jeff Hordley is a family friend and came up with the idea of Monday's event at the Brudenell venue in Leeds, somewhere Nell had always wanted to sing.
It's a night to celebrate Nell's life. I always knew she was a sparky girl, but she was just tenacious, and then she became this amazing musician. So yes, I did kind of have a gut feeling that she was destined for something really special. So Jude, Nell's dad, has set up a memorial fund for Nell, which aims to raise £100,000, and then over the next 10 years, they're going to give £10,000 a year to young artists.
Nell's life was ended in a car accident after the family had moved from Leeds to Canada. They are determined to keep her memory alive.
Is it difficult for you to listen to Nell's songs now?
It's extremely difficult. Just the lyrics in it, they all meant something very different.
I'll go and paint the stars.
But they all had a real strong meaning, and an even more stronger meaning now that she's gone.
Yes, a very talented young lady, and that was Katie Oscroft reporting on the legacy of Nell Smith.
The ITV Evening News continues after us. Here's Lucrezia with the details.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, the sole survivor of the Air India disaster recounts the moments before the plane went down and how he made his miraculous escape. Israel launches a major attack on Iran. Around 200 Israeli aircraft bomb targets across the country. And the so-called Trojan horse treatment giving new hope to cancer patients. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
See you shortly, Lucrezia. Thank you. Now, time for sport. And we think Chris might just have landed the job of the day.
He's been dining on strawberries and orange squash all afternoon, would you believe it? All because he's at what's been described as the Wimbledon of the North. Chris, it is a gorgeous day for this. You are very lucky to have some tennis in the sunshine.
Lara, it's a tough job, you know, but somebody's got to do it. As you say, the weather really has played ball today. It's been glorious here. And guess what? We've had some British success on the courts as well. Jack Pinnington-Jones making it through to the men's semi-finals as well. You know, this competition here at Ilkley has been going for 10 years now. I've been to pretty much every one, barring the odd year or two. And I've got to say, it just gets bigger and bigger every single year. Not only in terms of the size itself, but the stature of the tournament as well. Thousands of people have come through the gate over the past few days, I should say, with finals weekend practically sold out. It's little wonder it's now attracting some of the world's best players. This year, for the first time, a Grand Slam singles winner has played right here at Ilkley, the 2014 US Open winner, Maran Cilic. But it's also an event for the up-and-coming stars of the tennis world. I've got to say, though, the real stars of the show are the courts themselves. The ground staff here recently won awards for the quality of the surface, even beating the All England club down at Wimbledon.
The courts are beautiful. I think they're some of the best courts I've ever played on, genuinely. I think they've done a fantastic job with the grass court swing as a whole, the LTA, leading up to Wimbledon here. So this is just a really comfortable place for me. And then just having the past experience gives me a lot of confidence.
I haven't played yet on centre. Hopefully we get a chance tomorrow, but it's it's one of the best events for sure that we have in the UK, and every year I feel like it keeps getting bigger and better. So yeah, I love coming back.
Yeah, same. I haven't played here before. I played my first singles match and our first doubles match on court 3, and then went on court 1 yesterday, and there was a huge difference in atmosphere. And you can start interacting with the crowd and stuff, which we do like to do, and we give out beans, get beans back. That's what we try and do. So it's really enjoyable.
This is a huge event for players that have been on the tour a long time, such as Marin, and also for a lot of up-and-coming players that at the moment they're not necessarily household names, but I can guarantee there'll be players that have been here this week that will do well at Wimbledon in a couple of weeks' time, but also we'll see like your Jack Drapers in a couple of years who potentially will be top 10 within the world.
Well, Chris, I'm glad that you've enjoyed your day there, but it's time to get back to a wee bit of work now, and apparently there's an update on wages due at Sheffield Wednesday, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Lara. After 14 days of waiting, we understand that the non-playing staff at Sheffield Wednesday will receive their monthly wages tonight at the very least. The club are under a transfer embargo as punishment for not paying their players on time for the second time in 3 months, but it's not clear when those players will receive their wages. Meanwhile, across the city, Chris Wilder is still the manager of Sheffield United, for now at least. The 57-year-old's future was reportedly discussed at a board meeting yesterday, despite being handed a new 3-year contract back in January. Well, Hal Stewart from the Sheffield United Way podcast believes it would be a very bold move if the owners were to sack Wilder.
It's a very risky move as your first major move. And that would be, for me, terrifying if it was my decision. If we get to January and Sheffield United are not quite where we believe they should be, I think a lot of supporters would understand, OK, maybe it's time. But we aren't in that situation. It feels harsh if it's one that is taken.
Well, the Halifax Panthers wheelchair rugby league team will be hoping to win a first Challenge Cup title in 7 years this weekend. The Panthers, who thrashed Sheffield in the semi-finals, scoring 100 points, are celebrating the 20th anniversary since they were formed. They'll take on the London Roosters in the final in Wigan tomorrow.
We've got a lot of hopes this season, but the first thing we have to look forward to is the Challenge Cup. If we can get as many trophies as we can this season, it's going to put Halifax Panthers on the map and continue our legacy as the most successful club in this game.
Now, you might remember George Mills from the Olympics last summer. Well, he's going from strength to strength, and the 26-year-old from Harrogate, who's the son of the former Leeds and England footballer Danny Mills, broke Mo Farah's 5,000-metre British record that stood for 14 years.
To eclipse a time of somebody of his level and someone who's won so many global medals and dominated this distance for such a long period of time is something pretty cool, but I still have a long way to go to reach that level.
Well, Chris Moyles and Toploader are performing here at Ilkley this evening, so they're going to be dancing in the moonlight on that stage behind me this evening.
Yeah, maybe you'll be up there as well, Dorksy. Thank you very much.
I'd like to see that.
Well, Sir Mo Farah will be taken to the football field instead of the athletics track this weekend as he joins the stars and celebrities, put my teeth in, taking part in this year's Soccer Aid.
It's the biggest charity football match on the planet, all to raise money for UNICEF, with plenty of Yorkshire representation in the squads too.
Kick-off is on Sunday evening, and ahead of the big game, Lauren Hall joined them all for training.
Talking tactics and getting some practice in ahead of the world's biggest charity football match.
The wait is nearly over. There's just time for a bit of last-minute training ahead of this weekend's Soccer Aid. Now, if you're not familiar with the format, it's England versus the World 11. Both teams are made up of footballing legends and other celebrities, and it's fair to say there's already a real sense of excitement.
Alex Brooker from Huddersfield told us what it means to him.
It's the best. It's the best thing I've ever done. Like, obviously, having children and things like that, but in my career, it's the best thing I've ever done.
The first-timers are just as enthusiastic.
I'm the debutante here, and I'm literally like, how did I get here? I'm going to be acquiring a new skill.
No, but she's been brilliant, incredible athlete, and you were good in training yesterday. I thought.
You're in good hands here, aren't you?
Listen, in Jill we trust. I mean, our leader and the most experienced probably on the pitch.
Oh, I feel the pressure now.
Someone who's already stepped up, quite literally, is Sam Thompson. He's just run and cycled 260 miles, transporting the match ball from last year's Soccer Aid Stadium, Stamford Bridge, to Old Trafford, the home of this year's match.
Sam, how are you feeling? You must be knackered.
Do you know what? I feel great. I feel energised, actually. When you're here, this is like any boy or girl who loves football's dream come true.
His fundraising efforts have also been a dream, raising more than £1.5 million. And there's still plenty more money to raise this weekend. All for UNICEF to help children around the world. Soccer Aid's raised over £106 million over the years. Everyone's here for a good cause, but they also want to give us a good game. England took the title last year, and they've got some ideas of how they can do it again this year.
We're going to maybe get in the bar and give them a lot to drink. Keep buying them drinks. See if we can slow them up.
Harry, I think that's a great tactic.
That's a tactic. That's the new cheating, crooked tactic.
We'll see how it works.
It's all kicking off here, and they'll be kicking off on Sunday evening. Despite a bit of team rivalry, when it comes to raising money, they're aiming for the same goal. Lauren Hall, ITV News.
Yes, let's hope they raise lots of money. Now, earlier in the week, we were at the Transplant Ashes in North Lincolnshire as the England and Wales Transplant cricket team took on the Aussies.
Every player has had an organ or stem cell transplant which saved their life. Well, we've got some breaking news to bring you.
Yes, England have won the Ashes after victory in the third and final test at New Farnley this afternoon. The home side have won the series 2-1. Great news.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. Now, she was an author ahead of her time, bringing us classic novels, including, of course, Pride and Prejudice.
This weekend, Jane Austen is being celebrated at Chatsworth House to mark 250 years since she was born.
It's also 2 decades since the stately home itself took centre stage in a film adaptation of what is arguably her most famous book. That is being screened tonight in the House Gardens.
Derbyshire and Chatsworth held a really special place in Jane's heart, and that is exactly where we can find our Tina Gelder right now.
Oh yes, welcome to Derbyshire. It's a glorious evening here. You can really see why Jane Austen loved this county. And look at this, just look, 1,700 people waiting to watch a special screening of that film on the big screen there. Now all day I have been surrounded by bonnets and by Empire line dresses. Just look at those ladies. I felt a bit underdressed, so I managed to find this parasol. Because here at Chatsworth, the Regency era is being brought back to life. Enter, if you will, the world of Jane Austen. Visitors to Chatsworth immersed in the period with which she is associated. Genteel strolls through the gardens, embroidery and afternoon tea. What's not to love? Professor Jane Hodson is a self-proclaimed Austenite.
I think the thing about Austen is she still reads really well today. I've got a book that was actually my nana's. We've been read by many generations, and during lockdown I read it to my youngest daughter. And it's wonderful to read it with a young person and is still blown away by it, still engaged, still drawn into the world. It brings you in, it shares ideas with you, it teaches you about the world and about relationships, and that still chimes with people today.
Mr. Wickham is blessed with such happy manners. He is sure of making friends.
As well as the 250th anniversary of the birth of Jane Austen, it's 20 years since Chatsworth was immortalised as Pemberley in the award-winning adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. Keira Knightley was Elizabeth Bennet with Matthew McFadden as the dashing Mr. Darcy. There's a screening tonight, and fans have come from far and wide to tread in the dainty footsteps of Miss Bennet. Where have you come from today for this?
We're from Missouri, in the States, yep.
And what has made you come today? What is it about Jane Austen that still appeals to you?
Well, of course, we love the era. We love the dress. We love the Regency era. And we're especially excited about the Regency tea.
You've come from Germany for this event today. What made you want to come?
We love Jane Austen. Yes. We love Pride and Prejudice. We're very big fans.
Where have you come from today?
Greece, Thessaloniki.
Oh my goodness, have you come for this event?
Yes, specifically.
What do you think of this event? Why have you come here?
I am obsessed with the movie. I think only this year I've seen it like 5 times, and I'm ready to make it 6.
Ideas still important today, I think. Women still sort of feel for her today, and what she sort of spoke about, it's sort of timeless.
More than 2 centuries on, and Jane Austen's literary genius endures. Chatsworth providing a stunning backdrop to showcase her timeless classics. Of this, she would undoubtedly approve.
Beautiful place.
So beautiful. And I bet Tina is off to find her Mr. Darcy.
she may have already found him, who knows? Well, here's Nick Miller with the weather.
clear start makes way for a day of ancient discoveries. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire weather.
Hello, it's been a very warm and humid end to the week. Temperatures widely into the mid-20s. Not necessarily clear blue sky, but decent sunny spells coming through on a breezy day as well. The attention now turning, though, to rain and thunderstorms. Low pressure developing to the south is going to feed northwards and bring those downpours into the day tomorrow. Don't write the whole day off. It won't be wet all the time. There'll still be warm, sunny spells, but there is that possibility of finding yourself getting caught in some heavy downpours. Before a quieter Sunday, still with a few showers around and a fresher feel in a westerly breeze. Now, it may well be through the night that we see some heavy rain to our east and west, but we miss a lot of it until we get into tomorrow. There is a yellow warning from the Met Office that will kick in across much of the region later tonight and into tomorrow, and a warm and muggy start. Some temperatures up to around 17 degrees or so as we start the day. And we start the day with sunrise just after 4:30. Sunset tomorrow getting on now towards 9:40. So tomorrow morning we may get off to a dry start with those sunny spells developing, but this is when we're expecting some showers and thunderstorms to break out and then feed their way northwards. Hail and gusty winds are possible, but you get the idea from this. There'll still be some warm sunny spells still on the humid side, so again it's not a washout of a day, quite breezy throughout, and a few showers could continue into Saturday evening for a time. Sunday is looking quieter. The low pressure pulls away to the north, still the chance of a few showers breaking out, and it will feel a bit fresher in a westerly breeze. Just a few words about next week. There'll be a fair amount of cloud around, I think, to begin with, but then high pressure building in and a lot of dry weather to come as the week goes on.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire weather. Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
If you're allergic to grass pollen, it's not much fun at the moment, particularly as it's blowing about in the breeze too. Levels remaining high through the weekend into next week. A bit of weed pollen in the mix as well.
Oh, it feels like summer has finally arrived.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from the thunderstorms, it's fine.
Oh, forget about those. They're fine. We need those for the growers.
Well, that's very true. And whatever you're doing, have a wonderful weekend, won't you? And we look forward to seeing you back here with us at 6 o'clock on Monday.
Absolutely. Good night.
Good night.